Floor is yours.
Thank you, Pastor Kevin. I just want to give a salute out last weekend. I'm very proud of my grandniece. She participated in the Heartland Nationals wrestling tournament for girls in Nebraska and Iowa. The team that she was on took first. They dominated the tournament and she won seven of her eight matches. If she would have won her last match, she would have been All American at 13 years old. She's done 3 years of wrestling and she's been a state champ 3 years in a row. I'm very, very impressed. She has really definitely put out and she's proven herself. She's awesome. I'm proud of her. The next thing I'd like to say, this next weekend, well, I'm going to let you know, there's seven kids that I've got. I've got six boys and a girl. My oldest is 29. My youngest is 18. Um, but I'm proud to look forward to this next weekend because one of my boys are getting married this on the 24th, on next Saturday night in Cedar Rapids. But the thing is, I'm proud of him to have, he's got this wonderful woman that he's met and he's had her for 7 years or longer. And they've been going through college and school. They met as sweethearts in school. And now they're capitalizing on becoming as one as part of my family. And her name is Alexia Sailors. And soon she's going to be Alexia Chally. I'm proud of her. I'm just letting you know. A big event for me coming up next week. Where I left off last time, I believe we were talking about chips. Everybody in the world will have a chip uh, addressed to them, or there will be one number. There won't be nobody with the second number to hold the same chip. The reason why this chip or this identification of this chip, uh, it will access basically five different areas and it'll keep record on you. You're talking that, uh, for instance, your medical, you go to the medical, a doctor, and they will later on put the records into your chip for you. That way, if you ever needed to go to another hospital or another doctor, any place in the world, your records will be established with you. You're talking far as criminal, it'll keep a record on you as far as speeding tickets or whatever you've done in the eyes of the law. You're talking far as employment. Um, when you work a job, let me break this off a little bit. Um, when you're working a job in the future, the companies are going to pay towards your retirement. Companies got breaks on as far as not having to pay medical and taxes. But the bad thing about what they're going to have to take or basically assume the difference of is if a person works in a job in a factory or any place, and let's say they're making $10 an hour, that employee will pay the person $10 an hour, and $3 of the money or 30% will go to the government. So that person will be actually, the employee will be paying $13 an hour for wages. Now, things will have to get adjusted eventually in the future to in the years to come. It'll work out. But when they work that job, they'll work it from starting, let's say, 18 to 38, and then they'll be paid out of retirement or a pension for the last 20 years, which will be 30% of their entire entitlement of what they're entitled to. So when you look at that's for 20 years until the 38, and then there'll be another pension that'll be paid to them from 38 to 58. So when you're 58, you'll make 60% of your money that you have during your time on the earth, and you can enjoy yourself by sitting back and maybe not working no more and retired. Now, the thing is, um, that'll keep record of everybody and what they're entitled to as they go along. And then, um, so I covered the medical office for records, law. We got employment records, but they also cover a budget of far as what they paid you every month to keep track of. There won't be no taxes filed at the end of the year. It's really not a point. It's a pointless system to keep track of. But at least you'll have an idea of what you've been making or what you do, just as a set stone to look back at. Um, the you would have also your uh, there would be like a rations card, and I'll get into that later on, maybe in another day. But that'll be another file, and the last file added to that number or your card or that digital chip that you will receive either in the hand and or by picture ID with the chip, will be your banking credentials. Basically, that card or that chip, if you go to a machine and you go to swipe it, it'll pull up your credit card information. Now, realize this isn't going to break out all your files at the same time. There'll be like different machines or a programmable machine that will be accessible to each one of the categories that's assigned to your number. So when you do simple purchases, you will only have, let's say, one on your number, and that will identify you making a charge or a purchase. And these numbers, realize they're going to be cryptic, or you'll have one number and there'll be a cryptic number with it, for security reasons, for nobody to just pull up your number. And when you are dig up your information, and when you go to purchase or use it and access it at any location, whether it's for medical, law, or uh, uh, just whatever you access, you're going to have a 4-digit number. So it's just like a bank card now. So when you punch in that number and you program it, whether you want 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever you want for your number for your chip, will go with it to use in per se to say that, um, it will uh, allow you the access of your information. Now, um, when you look at that, that's uh, I want to break down now basically how the world is going to operate. Uh, there's 150 members for the 150 countries that'll be established for each to count as a vote in the New World Order or the World Council. Realize there is 150 representatives, and there'll be one person that will hold the position for 151st. And these people, when they go to come together, there'll be rules that the people are laws that people will want to instill to come forward and be decided on as if it's going to go and help out the economy. Now, these first 150 people will be voting for the people to make sure there isn't going to be no wrong or hardship, or they're going to look into the bill before it becomes a problem that you can't necessarily back out right away. They would have to sit there and research the bill that would be going into effect. And they would sit there and bring it in front of the committee in a council of the 150, and they'd vote on it and they'd discuss it. And when they discuss it, and if they voted on it for it to go for the people, so you see, let me break it back a little bit farther now. In this world order, there is suggestion boxes in every post office. And if there is 10 people in a county that wanted to change something, for instance, the time the clubs stay open at night, they will come together and submit that. Once 10 come together of the same situation that wants to be changed or addressed to the people, there will be what you call a service office at the county level to go ahead and make up the proper form for what the bill would be looked like or what it would be established for the future. Now, that would turn around in 6 days when 10 people come together for it to be addressed for the A services offices to turn it into a law type setting. Then you got 30 days, which now um, realize I'm kind of breaking this, twisting this in and out, but I think you're going to get the picture after it's done. The, the thing is, everybody's in a database and it starts at your county level. It shows everybody that lives in that county. Then everybody that lives in the state is at another office, and everybody that lives in the federal is at another office, and everybody in the world, which all the countries would come together as another office or another way of relating. And there's only members on the World Council. On federal, state, or local, it is all up to the people. The people, when they get that 10 votes, or 10 people came together that said they want to change something, that will take 6 days. And then it goes into what you call, or another 30 days. Now, realize everybody in the county or in the world will have access on their cell phone to the government sites. There'll be an A services site, and it'll be open to everyone in the world. That number will open up and it'll identify with you to your site, to your phone, and it'll show the GPS. So you have to be in your county in order to vote. Not everybody in the world can vote on somebody else's county or so. So it'll be decided and directed between being encrypted and being a gyro to sit there and say you're on a certain location. And everybody will have access to these sites. You'll have county, state, federal, and world. And in the state site, for instance, well, let's go back to the county. We're in the county site. Now, they proposed this because 10 people came forward and they wanted to present it as a law. Well, it's got to run for 30 days. And it runs for 30 days to allow the people to either say yes, not no, just yes. I want to see that to come forward. So if there's 10% of the county that says yes to it, then the next 30 days, or after 10% has been accounted for, they can start the ruling for it to become a law. It'll take 30 days, and everybody at that time will have the right to say yes or no to whatever the opposed order or bill is to be suggested as. If it happened to go down to a 50-50 vote, not saying everybody in the county's got to vote, nobody does. You see, there's a timeline. When that 30 days is up, it'll give a countdown to the time. That's when the last vote can get in. And when it closes the timer, and if it happened to be a tie, that's only when this person, which is the decider of decisions from the World Council, will sit there and regulate and vote for that county that was put into play for the vote, for the law, or for the order, what they want to see. And he's only going to be a decider of decisions. the one for the world order. And it takes 10 votes or 10 people for a county. And that may change because there's counties out there that's got over 1 million people. And it may take, you might have 100 people or 1,000 people that might come forward. And it may be adjusted accordingly depending on what you feel is the needed amount of people to come forward before something is addressed. And for our state, I put down for 100 people deciding the same state vote. I looked at for federal or country, it'd be 1,000. And for world, it'll be 10,000. Realize once they got 10,000 people that came together said they need to have something change or they'd like to see something change in the world, that it will when they like to see it change in the world, that this will come in front of the committee, which will meet up every month for the UN, the United Nations, to meet up for all the world to come together. Now, they may not meet in person every month. Maybe they'll have video cameras where they can activate from their country where they don't have to travel. But these people are the main necessities to allow, yes, and great bills to come forward. They're only working for the people to make greatness. They're going to come forward to allow the people to see it can be great. And if something went into effect, now you figure for the World Council, it takes basically 90 days or 90 days for it to become a law or an order. Now, that could happen a couple times a year if, for instance, if something that they stuck into play and they see it didn't work right, they can change it in 90 days. Now, you know, with today's politicians and everything, it takes sometimes years for stuff to happen. You never really know what's going on. You're out of the media. You can try to follow them, but they do pretty much what they want, and laws you can't see. Well, with the information at your fingertips, always showing what new laws are going to come about with government programming that's held at each office, each county is going to set up and make it right for the world. They're going to make it for where the people can see peace and freedom. Uh, I'm trying to think, what else do I need to mention to you? Well, we mentioned wages. We mentioned about the chip. Uh, and then basically how the councils ran. Uh, I would like to get in a lot of communication about this new world order in weeks to come. There'll be segments that I'll drag it out, and I may speak some of the same things again over and over. But when you look at this new world order, it's great. People will get paid the cost of living. Maybe 6-hour work days. There's other things you can add to it that would make it great. But Pastor Kevin, you there? Well, anyhow, evidently he stepped away. I sat there and came up with this 15 years ago. I've been working this in my head, and I see it to be great for the future. The world will live in luxury and excellence laws will be for the people. Uh, People will achieve. They will enjoy living like God wanted us people here to live on earth, to enjoy freedom at its fullest, to understand that we got something great. Uh, we we got this possibility to dream about, to see how people can sit there and enjoy what the world can be like. Um, Pastor Kevin, well, it's obviously he must have stepped away. Uh, I wanted him to play a song for me. Uh, the song was Toby Mag, Help Is on the Way. Um, it's obvious that he's not here. I wanted that to be part of my show. I want to tell you a little bit why I want to go and play that song. The song is something that relates with the people. It talks basically how God is in each and every one of us, and he relates to the people as we see different things come about in the future to have. Uh, God's in each and every one of us, and he speaks through each and every one of us to let people know. Sometimes you don't always know what you're doing at the time when you do something, but there's a purpose. God has put me on this earth to have a purpose. Um, I sat there and uh, have, I'll go to my website. I got a website called www.scottchally.com. And on the website, there's about my books. Uh, I've got 5 books. You can watch video trailers. There's about music. I listed over 200 songs on one of the sites on the website that say that how the music around us is correlating with each and every one of us. We uh, we sit there and sometimes we hear things or we listen to music and we say it's something special about it, but we always put it off to the side saying that's just coincidental. That's just the way it is. God works between all of us. In the music, he shows what he's like. It, these are all children of God. Are you back yet, Pastor Kevin?